Welcome to yoga. My name is Kristi Cruise. Go ahead and find a comfortable position on your mat, lying down. Take a moment to really settle into your posture. Make any little movements that'll make you just a little bit more comfortable this evening. We're going to take a few minutes just to ground to the room, settle into the practice. And most importantly, become present in this moment as we leave everything else behind. So you're lying down on your mat and you're feeling the points of contact of every little part of your body that is touching the mat. Noticing the sounds around you, the textures, the feeling of the air, the temperature. Becoming very aware. Feeling the points of contact to the mat. Below the mat is the floor. Below the floor is the earth. And deeper earth, deeper, deeper, deeper. Bring your attention down, 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 deeper and deeper into the earth, until you find your awareness at the earth's core. Now imagine all the stress, all the strain, all the worry, all the anxiety that you felt for the past week rolling off your body, through the mat, through the floor, through the earth, and deeper, deeper, and deeper, all the way to the core. You can even imagine that there's little packets of worry and anxiety. Just release those little packets and let them float down, 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 off of you, to be transmuted by the earth. The earth's energy is very powerful. And energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed into a different form or transmuted. So give the worry and the stress and the strain to Mother Earth and allow her to take the burden away. Begin to deepen your breath. Breathing slowly and steadily and fully through the nose. Filling up the belly, filling up the lungs, clavicle bones rise. And then we'll exhale, clavicle bones lower, lungs, and lastly, empty out the belly fully. Inhale deeply, filling up the belly like a balloon, like a baby breathes. And then lungs. And lastly, the clavicles rise. And continue this 3-part breath, bringing all your attention to your breathing as if it were your job to just breathe. Breathing slowly yet fully with control. And setting for yourself an intention for today's class. Dedicating your practice to someone or something. And then bringing your awareness to your heart center. Maybe even placing your hands on your heart. Breathing the breath into the center of the chest. Coming to a tabletop position on your mat. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders, and we'll drop that belly toward the mat as far as we can as we tilt our gaze up. And then we'll round the back as we exhale into our Halloween cat shape. And then we'll drop the belly as we look up into our cow. And then reversing once again as we exhale. See if you can arch the spine even a little bit higher. And back to our cow. And once you've got the movement, you can close your eyes and begin to feel the whole body. Moving at your own pace. Gentle, calming movements. And you can continue here. We can take some deep hip circles. So moving the hips all around. A big circle in one direction. Now when you get to the bottom of your circle, you can switch directions. Go the opposite way. One more time all the way around. Back to your tabletop. Make sure your toes are flipped under. And we are going to push up into our first downward facing dog. So here, making a narrow inverted V with our body. Pushing that chest toward the thighs. Your heels may or may not be touching the mat. And you can choose to move one knee and then the other to stretch out the calves. Moving into plank. And back to downward dog. Forward to plank. You can always come down to your knees here if plank is too much. Back to downward dog. And one more time, we'll move forward, shoulders over hands. Hold and push back. And then we'll look up in between the hands and we will hop or walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way down. Taking hold of the elbows, we can rock back and forth in ragdoll. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to ragdoll. Swaying gently side to side. We'll come all the way up. Slight back bend at the top. And we find ourselves at the top of the mat in Samasthiti, equal standing pose. Hands come up, back bend. Swan dive all the way down. Place your hands on either side of your feet and hop or walk to the back of the mat into your inverted V. Shifting forward to plank. You can drop the knees if you wish, and then bend the elbows all the way down. We find ourselves in Cobra pose. So in Cobra pose, you could actually remove your hands and your lower body will stay where it is, peeled off the mat. Lots of strengthening here for your upper back, your neck. If you're doing a lot of sitting, a lot of desk work, a lot of time on the phone, this is a great strengthening pose. And then tuck the toes under and push all the way back to your downward facing dog. Walk the dog here if you'd like by bending one knee and then the other. Look up to the top of the mat and hop or walk. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. And we'll take a hold of our left wrist and we'll bend to the right. Inhale back up. Take a hold of the opposite wrist and bend to the left. Come back up. And then we'll swan dive all the way down once again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hop or walk to the back of the mat. Downward facing dog. So notice in just a few minutes of doing this, how much closer your heels are to the mat. How much better your calves feel, how much stronger you feel in your arms. Shifting forward to our plank. Coming all the way down or bringing our knees down. Bending the elbows, bottom half of a push-up. And push into cobra or up dog. From here, we'll push back into child's pose. So coming all the way back, sitting on your heels, and then your head goes to the ground. Resting here. Taking a moment. Take that left hand all the way over to the right side of the mat. Get a nice side stretch. And then both hands go all the way over to the left side of the mat. Get a side stretch there. Back to your tabletop. And then we'll continue with our cats and cows, making them deeper this time. So a bigger arch and a lower drop of the belly. Inhaling into our cow and exhaling into our cat. Inhaling into our cow. Exhaling into our cat. The bonus stretch here on our wrists. Let's take the fingers back to point toward our knees. And then if this just needs a little bit more, you can pull back and stretch open a little bit wider. Like everything in yoga, we don't take this to 100%. We're going for about 80% here. So find that edge and then soften around it. This is a deep, intense stretch. Back to our table. And then gently unwind those hands. So tucking the toes under. Just come right on up and sit back on those heels. So we're opening up the bottoms of the feet here. Gently bring that hand up and pull the right ear slowly toward the shoulder. Release the head, and we'll stretch the opposite side. So feeling the neck opening and the feet. Release, and then back to our table. A little bit of core strength here before we move to our ooey gooey yummy yin portion. So the left leg comes back straight and the right arm out. So feel the core fire up. And then we're gonna bend that knee and bring it forward and bend that arm and bring it backward. Back to straight. Bring it down. So left hand, right leg up. And then bend both, bring them parallel. And back. And down. So we'll do that one more time on each side. Right hand, left leg. And bend and come out. Straight. And down. Left hand, right foot. Bend and come out. straight and down. Push up and back into your downward facing dog. So this should feel really good. Walk your hands all the way back until you come to the back of your mat. And then you can hang here in ragdoll. Take a hold of those elbows. Get as far down to the ground as you can and swing back from side to side. Hands come back down. Walk those hands all the way forward until you come into plank. Again, for plank, you can always come down to your knees. Place the right hand in the center of the mat. Left hand comes all the way up, side plank. One straight line. Hand comes down. Push back to downward dog. Push forward to plank. Left hand comes center, right hand comes up. Side plank. So if you need easier, you can bring that leg down. If you need harder, you can raise the top foot. Back down and back to our downward dog. One last time, look up to the top of the mat, walk or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way down. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Back bend. Bring those feet mat distance apart. And we're going to come all the way down into a Malasana squat. So from here, you can stay in Malasana, or if you like to practice bird, you can bring your hands down and do any number of bird poses. Just playing with it. Coming backwards, allow yourself to sit on your mat. And then lie all the way back down. And I'm gonna actually move my computer down now. Now that we're getting into the yin portion. So rest here for a moment. Let's bring those knees in and just give ourselves a nice little hug. And rock back from side to side. And come down. Take a hold of those feet and see if you can straighten the legs. So this is a forward fold, but on your back. Your knees can be bent here if you need. Let's see if you can. Just play with it. Legs can be close together or more far apart. Feet come down to the mat, bend the knees. Bring the arms out to a letter T. And with closed eyes, think about where your tailbone is hitting the mat. So that is where I want the right side of your right hip to be. So if we lift our hips up off the mat and then turn so that our right side is where our tailbone was, now we can adjust those legs by bending ever so slightly, getting comfortable, finding a deep supine twist here. And then we can look over the opposite shoulder. You should feel this running through your hip joint, all the way through the chest and shoulders, all the way down your arm, the opposite arm. Think of it like a wringing out of a washcloth along your entire spine and the muscles of your trunk. Allow your body to become very quiet, very still, very settled. All the awareness is within, feeling your whole body. Noticing your breath. And then begin the process of unwinding, putting that tailbone back where it goes. And holding here with your knees bent. Just feeling the effects of the pose. And once again, taking those knees, rocking back and forth from side to side. Massaging the hips, the back. Enjoying the practice of self-care. Feet come back down. Arms come back out to a letter T. And again, we think about where our tailbone is on the mat. We lift the hips up so that we can make that pivot and place the opposite hip where the tailbone was. And look over to the opposite side. So feeling that twist from the bottom of the tailbone to the top of the head. And since we are here lying on our backs on the mat where we started, if there's any other little packets of energy or anxiety that you can release now, just let them float through the mat, through the floor, through the earth, to the core. Release, release, release. Slowly begin to unwind. Place the soles of the feet together and let the knees come out. Rest here. Knees come together and take a hold of the feet for a happy baby. Taking our time. Releasing the feet. And rolling onto our side. So from the side, we can come up onto our forearm. We'll feel a nice gentle stretch here. If we need a little bit more, we can come up onto our arm. And that will deepen the curve of the spine. So closing your eyes here. Bring your awareness to every little muscle that is stretching in your torso. How good it feels, how needed it is, how lovely, how appreciated. Come all the way down, 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 down onto your side. And rest here. Eyes are closed. We can roll onto our bellies. Kick those legs up and sway them from side to side. So you can stay where you are. I'm going to flip around to the other side just for the video. So continue to flip onto the other side now, so we can get that curve on the opposite side of the spine and torso. So two options. Once again, you can come up onto your forearm or bring it all the way up onto your hand. So if you're on your hand, you're locking out this entire arm. And then I like to bring my top leg forward just to give me a little bit more stability in this pose. So I call this beach body because it looks like someone posing on a beach. Again, the awareness is in your torso as you feel every single teeny tiny little muscle wrapped around your rib cage, just opening and opening and opening. It's so rare that we would ever be in this position unless we were actually doing a photo shoot on a beach. And I don't know how many of us have time for that. So just imagine that you're on a beautiful beach. You can hear the waves and the birds and feel the sun and the wind. It's so beautiful. So true yin takes about 3 minutes per pose. So that's why we stay in these postures a little bit longer, because it gives us more than just temporary relief. It actually increases our flexibility and gets into our joints and our tissues and our fascia and our ligaments and breaks up all the gunk that settles around from not enough movement or just lack of spending time getting into the joints. And so that's why we hold here a little bit longer, so that it more than just feels good for the moment, so that it actually has long lasting effects on our body and our flexibility and our cellular makeup. Yin is also very good for dropping you into your parasympathetic nervous system. So for most of our lives, we are in our sympathetic, which is our fight and our flight response. And so now we don't feel that way at all. We can feel relaxed and calm and grounded and comfortable. And that allows our nervous system to soothe and restore, repair and replenish. So it's very important that we take time for ourselves to do this, because it's the kind of thing that no one else can do for us. We have to make it a priority so that we can go out into the world with the best version of ourselves that we have, to do all the great things that we were put here on this earth to do. The world needs you at your best. So moving all the way down slowly onto your abdomen, taking your time to get there. This is called Advasana. So it's Savasana on your abdomen. Hands along sides, and place the cheek to one side. Just rest. This is an important part of yin called the pause. So we don't jump directly to shaking it off. We feel the effects of the pose. We take a minute to let it sink in and process. And then take any movement that you need, big or little, it's your choice. Ask your body how it needs to move and where it needs to go, and take it there now. There's no wrong. Some nice side bends. Now we're going to do a yin back bend. So two options for this, Sphinx or seal. So I'll start with Sphinx. So our elbows come directly underneath our shoulders, and make sure that the elbows are shoulder distance apart. So you don't want them too wide, right underneath those shoulders. And you'll feel the lower back bend. So this may be enough for you, or if you need to take it up a notch, move those hands where your elbows were and then push up into seal. So your pelvis will rise up off the mat here, and then just allow it to sink down as far as it'll go. Deep back bend here. Again, we're getting into the ligaments and the tendons. We're allowing that crystallized fascia that gets all junked up there to just break up and move out of our systems. So you want to push yourself here, because you came here for change. You came here for noticeable results, but you don't want to take it too far. If you ever feel pain in these poses, that is not yoga. Please come out. But if you feel discomfort, including deep discomfort, and only you know the difference, that is work. That is change. That is why you came. So much spine care that we're doing today. Which is so important, because that is our central nervous system, and a healthy spine is a healthy body. So true yoga begins that moment that your monkey mind wants you to come out of the pose and it tries to convince you, oh, you've had enough. But you say, no, no, I'm here, I'm present. I can be the pose. That's when your mind gets out of the way and your soul can shine a little bit brighter. So we begin to push all the way up and then back to a wide leg child's pose. So feet together and knees mat distance apart. And then push back. Bring the hands all the way up. And then forehead comes down to the mat. So this is one of my favorite hip openers. And hip openers are so important because it allows us to process the unprocessed emotions that get stuck in our body. And oftentimes when we push things down, we literally push them down, down, down into the bottom of our hips. And there they sit, and there they stay. And there they accumulate. So just even the act of doing this posture of wide leg child's pose, we are physically processing the emotion by giving the energy a space to release. So we're pulling the backs of the hips apart. Oftentimes this will have a emotional reaction. So if there's any emotions that bubble up during this process and during this pose, allow that. Because that is your body telling you that there's something that needs and wants to come out. So you have two choices. You can brush it aside, or you can sit with it and be with it. And do that in a place of non-judgment and non-commentary. Just allow the feelings to be. And a really cool thing that you can do is once you've sat with the whatever it is you're feeling for long enough, you can imagine, feel or sense that there's like a green mist that's floating out of the top of your hips and dissipating. And that green mist is all that stuff that we push down, down, down. And now it has somewhere to go. It goes into the air and it's carried away by the earth. It's no longer stuck inside us.
process of doing this visualization can actually change the construct of your amygdala, the part of the back of our brain that stores trauma. If you ever just feeling a certain way and just need some time to yourself, just find a room and go into a child's pose. Just simply sit there, feel, and then when you're ready, allow that green mist to begin to rise. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, you can begin to move forward, coming up into a tabletop. And pausing at the top of your table, feeling your whole body. Noticing any parts that feel a little tingly as the new blood rushes toward it. The new prana, the new synovial fluid. When you're ready to move, you can take cats and cows. Moving with your breath at your own pace. Back to our tabletop. We're going to bring our hands out about a foot, maybe a little more. And then we're going to keep our hips over our knees, so we're not moving back as in child's pose. We're keeping them up here. And then we're going to bring our heart toward the mat. So this is melting heart or puppy dog. You're going to feel a deep stretch underneath your armpits and through your chest. Two options here for your head. You can either place your forehead on the mat or your chin on the mat for a deeper stretch. Slowly begin to come up. Back to our table. Pause here. So locking out the right elbow, bend the left elbow as far as you can to where it can almost touch the ground, and then bend the left ear toward the left shoulder. You're going to feel a stretch in your right neck. That arm comes straight, and we'll bend the right elbow. And then we'll feel a stretch in our left neck as we bend the right ear toward the right shoulder. And then switch. And switch. Couple more times at your own pace. And if this doesn't feel right, just take any other movement that you need here. Cats and cows, hip circles. Back up to your tabletop position. And we're going to do one bonus stretch. So from your tabletop, tuck your toes under as if you're going into downward dog, but we're not. We're going to walk our hands back, knees push up and go wide. And then we bring ourselves into a little ball. This is a full posterior chain stretch. It should feel really good. And if you tuck your head into your chest, you're going to feel the stretch all the way from your toes to the top of your neck. Every little part of the back side of your body is being pulled apart here. So good. And with that, you can begin to come out. Walking the hands forward, knees come down, and make your way all the way down into child's pose. Into Savasana. Corpse pose, I meant to say. So moving forward onto your mat. Settle in. Once again, like in the beginning of class, feeling all the points of contact from your body to the mat. Becoming very still. And just noticing how you feel. Scanning your body for any leftover tension, stress, tightness, anxiety. When you find something, just imagine it's a little packet and release it through the mat, through the floor, through the earth, and down, down, down to the core.
Resting deeply. As you breathe gently. Feeling your whole body. And feeling a deep sense of gratitude for this time that we've spent together today. There's so many things that we could be doing this evening, and yet we chose to do yoga and practice self-care. But it's not selfish, it is selfless. Because a better us means a better world. So this feeling that you have right now is always with you. It is who you are. It is the real you, the soul you, the spirit you, the eternal you. Get to know it. It loves you and all of your many flaws, your human traits. So you can stay exactly where you are and continue this deep savasana rest. Or you can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing gentle movement to the body as you turn onto your favorite side. And gently make yourself up to a seat. Whether you're lying down or sitting up, we'll place our hands on our heart center. And a sweet smile will come across our face, as we will know that what we've done here today is good. And will reverberate throughout the world as we spread our gifts near and far. Hands come to prayer center, and together we bow and say, Namaste. Thank you for sharing this practice with me today. My name is Kristi. I'll see you next time. And I'll stop the recording.